I am so excited. I got a 5-star review from Literary Titan. It is absolutely amazing. And as part of this is that they're doing an interview with me. I feel so blessed to be a part of all this. The most important thing is not about me. It is not at all about Frank. It is about trying to help a troubled world. I am trying to use this children's book to get out there and to help people to ultimately be happier, not just children, but that ripple effect that happens out to their families and their friends and beyond. I'm super in awe that I get to do this interview, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. And I hope that you will, yes, I hope that you will buy positives for, again, for trying to do your part in helping a troubled world. Because when one person becomes happier, it has this ripple effect of up to 1,000 people. So I feel like helping your children and you to be happier is kind of a community service. Anyway, without further ado, here is the interview with Literary Titan.
Positives follows three children as they discover how practicing gratitude can transform their outlook, improve their emotions, and help them build meaningful new relationships. What inspired you to create this story for young readers?
Well, it might surprise you, but it is our troubled world right now. We're having so many problems, and there's so much tension and anxiety and people bickering and division going on in our world right now. And so I saw this and I found myself very concerned about the next generation. And initially, I felt really hopeless and depressed, and I was thinking, well, what can I do? Well, I can't change the political landscape, but I thought I've been teaching a class on positive psychology for the last 16 years. So surely I have something to offer. And so I chose to write a children's book that infuses positive psychology into the lives of these young people right at the time that they're really going to need it. So on the surface, yes, I want them to be happier, but the driving force behind it really is that I know that the techniques in positive psychology, yes, it can help us to be happier, but it can also help us to be more optimistic and more resilient. And I'm concerned that the next generations might need more resiliency. So I'm trying to instill that now. Another thing that's really the driving force behind this is that, again, the science of positive psychology has proven that when one person becomes happier, it has the same spread as a virus. If you want to look it up, it's Nicholas Christakis, and he has a book called Connected. And so when one person becomes happier, it spreads like a virus up to 1,000 people per person. So if you get these into even, say, one classroom or even just one young person, that helps that one person, and then they take it to their school and their friends and their churches and their community, and it spreads out. So when one person becomes happier, it has this ripple effect. So I'm hoping at a time in our history when we really need it, that this very small little book can help to make a difference in our troubled world.
Dan begins the story feeling discouraged while Annie and Zeke help him discover a new perspective. What did you want young readers to understand about changing difficult emotions?
I've been a therapist for coming up on 20 years now, and I've found that some people view difficult emotions as kind of like the weather. Like the weather, oh, I'm having a difficult day today. And so it feels like here comes some depression, here comes some sadness, and really the best that I can do is get out my little umbrella and hope that it passes quickly. And so by teaching these positive psychology techniques, I've helped my students and my clients for years to realize that with a little bit of effort, that they can improve their mood. And that is incredibly empowering when you realize that there's something that you can do to help yourself feel better. Is that going to make everything fine and everything's going to be wonderful now? Not necessarily, but it's very empowering to realize that you have something to say about how you feel. And so I felt like it was very important to instill this into our young people, and hopefully it ripples out to not only the young people, but they take this skill home and teach it to their families. And the next thing you know, happiness and optimism and resiliency are spreading out throughout the country, really.
Annie shares a practice she learned from her grandfather. How did family wisdom and intergenerational connections influence the message of this book?
Well, I have to admit, my personal family and intergenerational wisdom, we're a little short on that. So I'll talk about my adopted family of positive psychology. So there's Aunt Sonia, there's Aunt Barbara, there's Uncle Dan, there's Grandpa Marty, which is Sonia Lubomirsky, Barbara Fredrickson, Dan Gilbert, and Martin Seligman. And so they don't know it, but I often will refer in Happiness 101, I'll refer to Sonia Lubomirsky as Aunt Sonia. So there's a ton of intergenerational wisdom going on there. And so Annie refers to Grandpa Marty, but behind the scenes, who she's alluding to is Martin Seligman, who is the founder of positive psychology. So there's tons and tons of wisdom to be passed down from positive psychology. And one of the things that I absolutely love about positive psychology, it is supported by science. So this isn't just, ooh, what did the happy people come up with now? We have the science to back it up. In fact, I think the scientific rigor for us to support what we're saying is even more stringent. Yeah, there's tons and tons. If you want to read some books, I would highly recommend Martin Seligman's book Flourish, and of course Sonia Lubomirsky's book, The How of Happiness, Barbara Fredrickson's book, Positivity, and then Dan Gilbert's book called Stumbling on Happiness.
What message do you hope young readers take away when they see Dan, Zeke, and Annie work through their feelings together?
Well, I guess my real hope there was for young readers to realize that it can be done, that you don't have to just be subject to whatever mood that you're in, that you have a choice, that you can do things to help to improve your mood. And yes, that is done even better when you have other people to help support you. So that is the interview with Literary Titan. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into the background as to why I wrote the story. Also, want to give a shameless shout out to my amazing illustrator, Kat Charm. She lives in New Zealand. Wow, she is just amazing. Some of the suggestions, she doesn't just do what oh, I want this here and want that there. It's a collaborative effort, and she has come up with some of the most creative, amazing ideas for the Positives book. One not so small example is that it was a little bit choppy with the dialogue going back and forth. So Zeke, hi Dan, how are you? Dan, hey Zeke, what's up? Like the name things felt very like, just kind of bogged down. And so she's the one that came up with the idea to assign a different color to each character so that it automatically flows. And I found that young readers, you don't have to explain it to them, they automatically pick up on it. So anyway, huge shout out to Cat Charm. Of course, don't go use her for your own children's book because she's mine, all mine. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching this video, and I hope that you will be part of the next book, which is called What's Good. It's already in Kat's capable hands. She's already illustrating it. And so you can be part of the launch team. So go to my website, it's called positive.kids, and hit subscribe, and you'll see on there that you can be part of the launch team. Now you might ask yourself, well, what does that entail? What it entails is that you would get a virtual copy of the book before the book actually even launches. And it gives you the opportunity to give any feedback about the book. And it also gives you the opportunity to do a book review before the book is actually even launched, which will help it to have momentum, which will help it to get the word out, and hopefully help the world become a little bit happier, a little bit more resilient and optimistic.